All right, so let's talk about change. Have you ever been at a company where some huge new initiative just takes off while another one completely crashes and burns? Well, the secret isn't in the tech or the strategy. It's all about the people, and understanding that is the key to everything. I mean, really think about it for a second. That brand new software that nobody wants to use, or that huge reorganization that just ended up making everything more confusing, it's a super common story. But the reason why it fails is usually not what we think. And here it is, the big idea for today. A company doesn't just change. It's the people inside the company who have to change, one person at a time. And if you can't get each person through their own personal journey, well, the whole big project is pretty much doomed from the start. So how in the world do you manage change on that individual level? That's where this amazing framework comes into play. It's called the ADKAR model, created by Jeff Hyatt, and it is specifically designed to guide people step by step through any kind of transformation. You'll see ADKAR is an acronym, ADKAR. And what makes it so powerful is that it takes a massive, scary change and just breaks it down into 5 manageable, totally human-centered steps. It's basically a roadmap for a personal journey. You know, I love to think of ADKAR as a bridge. Every single person who's affected by a change has to walk across this bridge to get to the new way of doing things. But if even one piece of that bridge is missing, they're stuck. So let's walk across this bridge together, piece by piece. First up, we've got awareness. This is the absolute starting point, the foundation of the whole bridge. It's not enough to just tell people, hey, a change is coming. They need to understand why. Why are we doing this? Why now? If you don't get the why right, you're going to get resistance from day one. So how do you actually build that awareness? You've got to communicate a sense of urgency. Some people call it the burning platform. You do this by sharing the hard data, telling stories, sharing case studies, anything that makes the risk of not changing feel way more dangerous than the risk of changing. All right, let's move to the next plank in our bridge, desire. Now, this one is so important because it's deeply personal. Awareness is all about the business reasons, right? But desire is about the individual. It's their answer to that one question that's always in the back of their mind. So what's in it for me? And to build that desire, you have to connect the change to what people actually care about. Is this going to make my job easier? Will I learn a cool new skill? You have to highlight the personal wins. You celebrate the folks who jump on board early. And maybe most importantly, you have to listen to people's fears and address them directly. Okay, so once someone understands why the change is happening and they actually want to be a part of it, you're ready for the next step. Knowledge. This is the nuts and bolts, the how-to. Because let's be real, you can't expect someone to do a new thing if you haven't taught them how. This part is all about education, and it can look like a lot of different things. It might be formal training sessions, interactive workshops, super clear how-to guides, or even just setting up a system where people can learn from their peers. The goal here is simple. Give everyone the info they need to succeed. And this brings us to a really, really critical distinction. Knowledge is about knowing what to do. Ability is about actually being able to do it when the pressure is on. You know, just because I read a book about brain surgery doesn't mean you want me operating on you, right? Same idea. Developing ability is all about practice and support. It means giving people a chance to try things out, maybe in a simulation or a practice environment where it's safe to fail. It means having experts on hand to help when they get stuck. It's about building confidence right alongside competence. And finally, we get to the very end of our bridge, reinforcement. This is the piece that stops everybody from just snapping back to the old way of doing things. The whole point here is to make the change stick, to make it the new normal, the new habit. You reinforce change by celebrating the wins, big and small, by giving people ongoing feedback, by literally building the new way of doing things into performance reviews and official processes. This is how you make sure the change is here to stay. Okay, so that's all the theory, but does this stuff actually work out in the real world? Well, let's take a look at a really high-stakes case study from the world of healthcare to see just how powerful this model can be. So here's the scene. You've got a big hospital, and they're making this monumental shift from mountains of paper files to a new, shiny electronic health record system. This is a huge deal, right? It affects doctors, nurses, admin staff, everybody, and they all have their own concerns. And here are the results. Just look at this. Without a structured plan like ADKAR, projects like this typically stall out at around 45% adoption after 3 months. Kind of grim. But by using ADKAR, this hospital's adoption rate soared to 85%. I mean, that is a night and day difference, and it shows you exactly what happens when you focus on that individual journey. So how do they pull it off? For starters, they hammered on desire. They didn't just talk about corporate efficiency. No, they framed the entire change around the one thing every doctor and nurse cares about most: patient care. They answered that "what's in it for me" question with "you get more time with your patients." Powerful. And they didn't just stop there. To build ability, they had expert support teams available 24/7. They put simple cheat sheets and workflow guides at every single computer. And to reinforce it all, they checked in regularly and then publicly recognized the departments that were doing a great job. They supported the change, and then they celebrated it. This all leads us to what might be the most useful part of the ADKAR model. It's not just a plan for getting started. It's actually a diagnostic tool you can use when things start to go wrong. So if people aren't adopting the new thing, you can use this framework to figure out exactly where the roadblock is. You can ask, is this an awareness problem? Do they just not get why we're doing this? Is it a desire problem? Do they just not want to? Or is it a knowledge or ability problem where they're struggling with the how? This lets you fix the real issue instead of just sending another all-staff email. So the next time you find yourself in the middle of a change, whether it's big or small, I want you to think about this. Don't just look at the Gantt chart. Look at the people. Ask yourself, for every single person this touches, is their bridge to the other side complete?